There are certain habits, cravings, and inner pulls that ordinary people will never understand because they were not designed for them. But chosen ones, those set apart by God for a higher calling, often feel drawn to things that look strange to the world but perfectly aligned with their spiritual destiny. These addictions are not destructive, they are divine compulsions, heavenly instincts that help shape the chosen one into who God needs them to become. They are spiritual appetites that seem to burn inside you for reasons you cannot fully explain. Yet they always lead you back to purpose, clarity, and elevation. Chosen ones are wired differently. Their souls operate on frequencies that others cannot hear. While ordinary people are addicted to comfort, validation, and distractions, chosen ones become addicted to growth, truth, and solitude because God is preparing them for assignments that require spiritual stamina and mental sharpness. These divine addictions are not coincidences, they are indicators of spiritual separation. They are the signs that you are being molded, sharpened, and guided into a destiny much larger than you. If you experience these addictions, understand, you are not strange, you are chosen. 1. Addiction to solitude. Chosen ones crave being alone, not because they dislike people, but because solitude is where God speaks the loudest. You feel a deep need to withdraw, to step away from the noise, the drama, the chaos, and the constant expectations that the world tries to place on you. While others fear silence because silence forces them to face themselves, you run toward it because silence is where your strength grows. Solitude becomes your sanctuary, your private chamber, your hidden place where God molds you without distraction. Many people misunderstand your desire to be alone. They assume it's loneliness or antisocial behavior, but they don't understand that solitude for a chosen one is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is where your spirit gets refilled. It is where clarity returns. It is where confusion dissolves. In your quiet moments, God whispers revelations, ideas, warnings, strategies, and insights that could never survive the noise of the crowd. When you are alone, you are not isolated, you are being instructed. God uses your isolation as a classroom where He teaches you things no human mentor could ever teach you. He uses it as a workshop where He strips away old versions of yourself that no longer serve your purpose. He uses it as a healing room where you confront past wounds and emerge stronger. Solitude becomes a spiritual detox, flushing out fear, doubt, negativity, and emotional clutter that would block your progress. The chosen ones often grow faster alone than others grow with hundreds of people around them. You begin to crave time with yourself because you discover that God hides the deepest upgrades in silence. While ordinary people distract themselves to avoid their own thoughts, you embrace silence because your thoughts are aligned with purpose. Alone is where your intuition sharpens, where your vision becomes clear, where your identity strengthens, and where God shapes you into who you were always meant to become. 2. Addiction to truth. Most people love comfortable lies, but chosen ones crave truth even when it hurts. You have a spirit that refuses to settle for illusions, shortcuts, or half answers. You feel restless around fake people, shallow conversations, and empty distractions because your soul is wired for depth. Anything that lacks authenticity feels like poison to your spirit. You can sense dishonesty even when no one says a word. You feel it in the atmosphere, in their tone, in their intentions. This creates a natural distance between you and anything or anyone built on illusion. God designed you this way because your destiny requires clarity, honesty, and spiritual discernment. Lies may comfort ordinary people, but they blind chosen ones. You were not created to live in denial or confusion. Truth is what strengthens you, matures you, elevates you, and prepares you for your assignment. There is something inside you that would rather confront a painful truth than live under a beautiful lie. You don't seek truth to judge others. You seek truth to understand yourself, your purpose, your path, and the world around you. Lies weaken your spirit, but truth sharpens your discernment. This is why you cannot stay around fake people for long. Their energy drains you. Their conversations bore you. Their intentions disturb your peace. You crave depth, meaning, honesty, and alignment, because these things reflect the nature of God. When you pursue truth, you become spiritually unshakable. God reveals things to you others cannot see, motives, patterns, warnings, and spiritual signs. Your addiction to truth becomes your protection. It keeps you from manipulation, deception, and spiritual traps. It aligns you with your purpose and keeps you rooted even in seasons of uncertainty. To a chosen one, truth is not optional. It is oxygen. It is the foundation of your journey, your growth, and your connection with God. 3. Addiction to self-improvement. While ordinary people get addicted to laziness, comfort, and entertainment, chosen ones become addicted to evolving, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. You cannot stay the same for long. Your spirit becomes uncomfortable when you stop growing. There is a divine restlessness inside you that pushes you to refine your character, upgrade your habits, and master yourself. This is not something you learned. It is something God placed in you. Your destiny demands excellence. Your calling requires a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of you, so God gave you the hunger to evolve. You always sense that there is more to learn, more to master, more to become. You feel pulled upward, stretched forward, pushed beyond your comfort zone. Most people fear self-reflection, but you embrace it, because you know growth happens when the truth confronts you. You want to become the best version of yourself, not for applause, but because you feel responsible for the assignment God placed on your life. You read, study, analyze, evaluate, and constantly adjust yourself. You grow through pain, you evolve through challenges, and you transform through awareness. While others waste time, you invest it. While others repeat the same mistakes, you learn from them. While others complain, you adapt. This addiction to self-improvement separates you from the crowd. It makes you an anomaly. It makes you unstoppable. You feel uncomfortable staying stagnant because your spirit knows your future is too great to remain average. God uses this hunger to elevate you above limitations that trap ordinary people. Every season of your life teaches you something. Every setback makes you sharper. Every breakthrough raises your standards. Growth becomes your lifestyle. Improvement becomes your language. Transformation becomes your identity. You were chosen not just to change your life, but to set an example, to show what happens when someone commits to becoming who God designed them to be. 4. Addiction to purpose over pleasure. Chosen ones are pulled toward purpose like a magnet. You can't enjoy meaningless activities for long. Even when you try to relax in ways that others enjoy, something inside you feels off, like you are wasting time or drifting away from your assignment. You start feeling uneasy around anything that distracts you from your calling. You can sense when you're out of alignment, even if what you're doing is fun for everyone else. While others chase pleasure, temporary thrills, and quick gratification, you feel naturally drawn toward responsibility, vision, and mission. It's not that you dislike pleasure, it's that empty pleasure cannot satisfy a soul created for impact. There is a fire inside you that refuses to be entertained by things that don't feed your purpose. You may try to live a normal, carefree life, but God won't let you. He keeps pulling you back to your assignment, reminding you of who you are and what you were sent to do. You were never built for a life of comfort. You were built for a life of impact. Pleasure may relax you for a moment, but purpose fulfills you on a soul level. Purpose gives you meaning. Purpose grounds you. Purpose strengthens you. Purpose shapes your identity and fuels your decisions. You feel a sense of responsibility that other people don't carry, and sometimes it feels heavy, but it also feels right. It feels divine. When you prioritize purpose, God begins shaping your path more clearly. Doors open for you that close for others. Opportunities find you. Clarity surrounds you. You begin to attract the people, experiences, resources, and knowledge required for your mission. This addiction to purpose becomes your compass, guiding your choices and protecting your future. Ordinary people may waste years chasing pleasure, but chosen ones understand that real joy, real fulfillment, and real success come from walking in purpose. Your spirit thrives when you do what God created you to do. 5. Addiction to spiritual knowledge. Chosen ones hunger for wisdom, scriptures, spiritual books, teachings, revelations, and divine mysteries. Your soul absorbs knowledge as if it has been starving for deeper meaning your entire life. You don't just want to know what happens in life, you want to understand why. You seek purpose behind every experience, symbolism behind every encounter, lessons behind every pain, and messages hidden inside every blessing. You are not satisfied with surface-level explanations. You crave the spiritual architecture behind reality, how God moves, how energy flows, how destiny unfolds, how alignment works. This is a hunger that ordinary people cannot understand because they consume information to pass time, but you seek wisdom to transform your entire existence. When you read, listen, or study, something inside you wakes up. It feels familiar, like your soul recognizes ancient truths you knew long before your physical body was born. You highlight, underline, reflect, meditate, and internalize wisdom because you know your mission requires clarity and depth. God gave you this thirst because your assignment is spiritual, not superficial. He needs you equipped, informed, and enlightened. Your ability to discern, interpret, and understand spiritual laws determines the heights you can reach. So God feeds your hunger with revelations that don't come from mere intellect, but from divine downloads. You begin to see patterns others cannot see, synchronicities, warnings, confirmations, and revelations hidden in everyday life. You talk differently, think differently, observe differently, and respond differently because spiritual knowledge rewires your perception. While many people rely on assumptions or emotions, you rely on wisdom. Wisdom becomes your shield, your compass, your weapon, your foundation, and your guiding light. You understand that knowledge transforms your spirit, elevates your character, deepens your discernment, and prepares you for your destiny. To the chosen one, learning is not an option. It is spiritual nourishment. It is how you stay aligned with God's plan, how you navigate challenges, how you interpret signs, and how you evolve into the person you were always meant to be. 6. Addiction to alignment and peace. You become deeply sensitive to anything that disturbs your inner peace. Toxic people, chaotic environments, negative conversations, unnecessary drama. You feel allergic to them. What others tolerate, you simply cannot. Your spirit reacts instantly when something is out of alignment. This sensitivity is not weakness, it is spiritual maturity. It is the internal alarm system God installed inside you to protect the mission He placed upon your life. You crave alignment, balance, and harmony because you understand that God operates through peace. Peace is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of divine order. When something disrupts that order, you feel it physically, emotionally, and spiritually. As a chosen one, you begin to value peace more than approval, more than company, more than entertainment, and more than comfort. You refuse to stay in environments where your spirit cannot breathe. You walk away from conversations that drain you. You distance yourself from people who disrupt your equilibrium. You protect your mind, your heart, and your energy because you know your peace is a portal to God's guidance. When your soul is calm, you can hear God clearly. But when your peace is disturbed, everything becomes blurry and confusing. Alignment becomes your goal in every area: relationships, decisions, habits, environments, and emotions. You want your life to match your spirit. You want your steps to match God's timing. You want your actions to match your purpose. And so you begin removing anything that creates spiritual noise. You start choosing solitude over chaos, growth over comfort, clarity over confusion, and purpose over popularity. People might accuse you of being distant or changed, but they don't understand that peace is your spiritual oxygen. Without it, you cannot function at the level God is calling you to. Your soul refuses to stay where your spirit does not belong. And this becomes one of your greatest strengths. 7. Addiction to helping and healing others. Chosen ones naturally feel drawn to uplift, encourage, guide, and heal others. It isn't something you try to do, it is something you are. You can't watch someone struggle without wanting to offer hope, clarity, wisdom, or direction. You sense pain even when it's hidden behind a smile. You recognize spiritual wounds even when they are disguised as anger, pride, or confidence. You understand people deeply, and they feel strangely safe around you. This ability is not accidental. God wired you this way because you were chosen to be a light in dark places. When others vent to you, seek advice from you, or lean on you in moments of weakness, you don't see it as a burden. It feels natural, like breathing. You listen differently. You care differently. You speak differently. Your words carry healing. Your presence carries comfort. And your spirit carries reassurance. Even when your own life feels heavy, you still find strength to support someone else. Not because you're trying to be a hero, but because compassion is part of your spiritual DNA. This addiction to helping others is often misunderstood. People assume you're just kind or emotional, but they don't realize it's a divine assignment. God uses your heart to reach people who have lost their way. He uses your empathy to lift those who feel invisible. He uses your wisdom to guide those who feel lost. And He uses your presence to heal those who have forgotten their worth. But this calling also shapes you. Helping others teaches you discernment. It teaches you boundaries. It teaches you the difference between divine connections and draining attachments. With time, you learn that you cannot heal everyone, nor should you carry burdens God did not assign to you. You begin to help with wisdom, not exhaustion. You learn to pour from a full cup rather than an empty one. Still, the desire to uplift never fades, because healing is part of your purpose. You carry a spiritual light that naturally illuminates others. Addiction to breaking generational limitations. While ordinary people repeat the same patterns their families lived in, chosen ones feel a supernatural compulsion to break cycles. Poverty, trauma, fear, stagnation, addiction, dysfunction, limitation, and generational curses that have been passed down for decades. Something in you refuses to settle for the life everyone before you accepted. You feel chosen to be the first, the different one, the one who carries the family into a new era, and you are. You look at your family line and notice patterns that others overlook. Repeated struggles, toxic behaviors, broken relationships, financial struggles, emotional wounds, spiritual blindness. And instead of participating, you begin questioning everything. Why do we do things this way? Why do we repeat this mistake? Why do we settle for this level of life? These questions are the first signs that you were chosen to break the chain. God places a warrior spirit inside chosen ones, a spirit that refuses to accept limitations, a spirit that seeks elevation, a spirit that hears destiny calling. You feel an inner push to rise higher, even when no one around you understands. You invest in your growth. You heal wounds others ignored. You seek knowledge others rejected. You walk away from toxic patterns others embraced. You try new paths that no one in your family walked. You make decisions guided by wisdom, not by tradition. Breaking generational cycles is not easy. It often isolates you. It separates you from the comfort of the familiar. It puts you on a path where you must become what you never saw, achieve what you never witnessed, and believe what no one taught you. But this addiction to breaking limitations is divinely placed. You are the curse breaker, the cycle shifter, the generational cornerstone, the one God chose to rewrite the story of everyone connected to your bloodline. Your rise is not just for you, it's for everyone coming after you. 9. Addiction to listening to God's instructions. Chosen ones often become addicted to signs, intuition, spiritual nudges, dreams, synchronicities, and divine whispers. You pay attention to what others ignore. You notice patterns, warnings, confirmations, and messages tucked inside everyday moments. You move when God says move. You pause when God says wait. You shift when God shifts you. This sensitivity is not random. It is your spiritual GPS. God only gives this level of direction to those He trusts with a big destiny. You've learned that God doesn't always speak in loud, dramatic ways. Many times His voice comes through subtle impressions, gentle nudges, or sudden clarity that hits your spirit. And because you are spiritually awake, you recognize the difference between your thoughts and God's guidance. You feel when something is right. You feel when something is wrong. You feel when something is off, even without evidence. This is discernment, and it is one of your greatest gifts. Listening to God becomes a lifestyle. You pray differently, you observe differently, you act differently. You no longer move based on emotions, pressure, trends, or opinions. You move based on divine instruction, and this obedience protects you from traps, fake opportunities, wrong relationships, and unnecessary battles. God blocks certain paths not to punish you, but to protect you. And because you are sensitive to His voice, you don't fight His redirections, you embrace them. This addiction to divine instruction gives you supernatural timing. You show up in the right places at the right moments. You meet the right people at the appointed time. You avoid disasters others walk straight into. You receive blessings others weren't positioned to catch. Your life begins to look guided because it is. God trusts you with signs because He knows you will actually listen. You become a vessel He can direct, a servant He can guide, and a chosen one He can depend on. If these addictions live inside you, it's because God has separated you, prepared you, and positioned you for something extraordinary. You are not ordinary, you are chosen. And if this message reached you at the perfect moment, it is not by accident. God wanted you to hear this today. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe, because messages like this are meant for the spiritually awakened and divinely aligned. This is the Zillion Mind channel. If you received this message exactly when your spirit needed it, type 1111 in the comment section to unlock divine blessings and alignment. Thank you for watching.